Hey Hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter Wilds endgame set video. In this series, we are going through all 14 weapon types and bringing you some of the best endgame sets for each of those weapons. Today, we're going to be covering dual blades. I have 4 super strong sets for you guys today that I have been enjoying quite a bit. However, I do want to give a short spoiler warning to those of you who are not yet into the endgame. After my intro plays, all of these sets, decorations, armor pieces, weapons, and footage will be from things that you can access from Hunter rank 40 and beyond, so if you're trying to avoid spoilers, I would highly recommend saving this video to watch later when you're ready to make these endgame sets. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. So before we get into the sets for today, let's go ahead and talk shop about weapons. For dual blades, since element is our strongest suit, we want the rarity 8 Ardian weapons. These, with just 2 element upgrades of your 5 upgrades, get up to 310 element, which is significantly more than everything else that is craftable from monster materials, except for Jindahad, which can reach 300 element. The rest of them are somewhere in the 200s. And of course, with dual blades scaling so well off of element, we really want to stack this element as high as we can get, and the Ardian weapons are the best way to do that. Again, with just 2 element upgrades, you will be better than every single craftable dual blades in the game. So if you can get between 2 and 4 element upgrades on your dual blades, as well as 1 sharpness upgrade, that will set you up for immediate success. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the first set. Again, we're going to be using Ardian weapons here, so get used to seeing the tilt crease up there at the top. Hopefully I pronounced that right, I don't know. The Ardian weapons have some interesting names. But as far as the armor goes, we'll be using 4 pieces of Gore Magala, including the beta head and legs and the alpha chest and waist. The arms are the beta version of the Guardian Ebony Adogaron armor, and the talisman is the Chain Charm 2. For weapon decorations, you have a couple different options. In the top dual blades, I went for crit element, focus, and enhancer, all with 1 level of element attack on the back end. However, the only reason I went for crit element here is because I do not have a razor sharp / blaze jewel yet. After nearly 200 hours in game, I think that is the only decoration I have yet to get. Otherwise, I would throw it in there because dual blades eat up sharpness fast. So I really think Razor Sharp is a must-have on dual blades, like you can see in the Ice dual blades just below it. The Enhancer Jewel gives us Power Prolonger 3, which does extend our Archdemon mode, which is very nice since we spend a lot of time swapping back and forth. And with dual blades' new Adept dodge, when you perfectly dodge through an attack, you do get an attack boost. And Power Prolonger does extend that. In my testing, it went from about 23 seconds up to about 42 seconds, so it is quite a sizable increase. You just can't overlook Power Prolonger here on dual blades. And then I like Focus 3 as it allows us to fill the Archdemon gauge much quicker, allowing for more time spent swapping back and forth between that during your blade dances. For our armor decorations, in the head, you will want a Phoenix and Sprinter Jewel. In the chest, another Phoenix Jewel. In the arms, I like a Refresh Jewel for getting our stamina back a little quicker when we do run out. Then in the waist and legs, you will want 2 Chain Jewels and 2 Sprinter Jewels. The Protection Jewel and Shockproof Jewel are totally up to you. I just really like Divine Blessing, and I've been playing a lot of multiplayer lately, and so I run Shockproof for that. All in all, in our weapon, we will have our element attack at level 3, then either critical element or razor sharp at level 3, depending on your decorations, and then focus and power prolonger 3, which we have already spoke about. Then in the armor, we will have burst at level 5. For dual blades, this gives us a bonus 120 element and 18 raw attack after hitting the monster 5 times. Again, dual blades loves element, so stacking on this huge chunk of element is extremely nice. Burst is one of the strongest skills in the game right now for pretty much every weapon, but especially so for elementally inclined weapons like the dual blades. Evade Window 3 comes free with the Gore Magala armor, and it gives you a huge window to pull off your perfect dodge in order to get that damage boost we spoke about earlier, so really I like this a lot here, and it's free on the armor, so just a plus all around. Marathon Runner 3 takes our continuous stamina depletion and cuts it in half, so effectively when we are in demon mode, we will constantly drain stamina. This gives us 50% slower stamina drain, effectively doubling the time we can stay in demon mode. Coupling with that, we can talk about Constitution and Stamina Surge. Constitution 2 is free with the armor and basically means we'll use less stamina when we do actions like evading. And Stamina Surge 1 means that when we are regaining stamina, we'll just regain it faster. Now, Coalescence and Antivirus are both at level 3, and these play in nicely with the Gore Magala Set bonus, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, when we clear our Frenzy, Coalescence will give us a bunch of bonus element, and Antivirus will give us 15% affinity. Now, any of the other skills you see here that I didn't mention are either just, again, free with the armor or my choice in decoration, so you may have some variance there. Now let's go ahead and talk about our set bonus, which is Gore Magala's Tyranny. At the 4 pieces of Gore Magala armor, we get the Black Eclipse 2, so anytime we are in combat with a large monster, we will be inflicted with the Frenzy, and by repeatedly attacking the monster, we can cleanse ourselves of the Frenzy. With the 4-piece set bonus, while we have the Frenzy, we get a bonus 10 raw attack, and once we clear it, that becomes 15 raw attack, and then coupled with Antivirus, we get 25% crit from clearing the Frenzy, and Coalescence will activate, giving us plus 15% to our element. This is a vast amount of element, and why Coalescence is so important to couple with Burst here, as it's very difficult to currently hit the elemental cap with dual blades. These 2 skills are the best way to stack up any element, but later on you will see a way to stack up a ton of dragon element and easily hit the elemental cap, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Our second set is a bit of a mixed set. Again, we're going to be using the Ardian dual blades, but this time we'll be using 2 different set bonuses, so we'll be rocking the Gore head and chest beta. Again, we use the Guardian Ebony braces beta, but then we'll be using the Guardian Fulgur Anjanath waist and legs beta, and of course the Chain Charm 2. The weapon decorations remain unchanged. Then in our 2 level 3 slots in the armor, you will need Chain Jewel 3s, again the 3 physique jewels for Marathon Runner, and 1 Phoenix Jewel in the level 2 slots. Now in the other 3 level 2 slots, I'm a huge fan of Part Breaker. Not only does this make parts in general easier to break, but anytime we use our Focus Strike with dual blades, that Focus Strike attack will do 30% more damage. Unfortunately, this only applies to the actual Focus Strike. This does not apply to the Beyblade attack, but there's really nothing better that we can throw into our level 2 slots as far as damage goes. You could of course go for some more Evade Window, Evade Extender, whatever you like, but I think that extra 30% damage on the Focus Strikes as well as the ease of breaking parts just really can't be overlooked. Destroyer is just generally an extremely good skill here in Wilds. I mean, let's be real here, you're gonna want to use that Beyblade attack as often as possible, so you're gonna be hitting wounds, so you might as well get 30% extra damage on the initial Focus Strike anyway. Our weapon skills remain vastly unchanged. This is just a Thunder Dual Blade compared to the Fire Dual Blades. We have Burst 5 again for 120 extra element and 18 extra raw attack. Constitution, Evade Window, again, same story, comes with the armor, you know why it's good. We already talked about Part Breaker 3 and Coalescence 3. And finally, this time we have Stamina Surge level 2, so your stamina bar will just recover even faster than the last set. Now with the additional 2 pieces of Fulgur Anjanath in this set, we get a skill called Second Wind 1. This gives us a slightly longer stamina bar that pokes out just a little bit further than our main stamina bar, as you can see here. While this isn't a ton, this is just some additional time you can spend in demon mode. It also equates to about a dodge or 2 extra per stamina bar, and since Dual Blades does want to use that perfect dodge in order to get our extra damage, it's just very nice to have, and we might as well tack it on. With the 2 pieces of Gore Magala compared to the 4, we drop down to Black Eclipse 1. Basically, all this does is we no longer get the plus 10 and plus 15 raw. We will still get the affinity when we clear the Frenzy. Unfortunately, we can't fit Antivirus into this set, so it's not going to be that 25% affinity, but it's some free extra affinity, and we really want that Frenzy clear in order to proc Coalescence 3, again for 15% extra elemental damage. So with or without the extra crit and attack, this set is just too good to overlook for elemental weapons, especially for dual blades. Now the third set is a little bit more of what we see as far as DPS sets go for other weapons. You've probably seen this one before if you've watched any of my other set videos, but it's going to be 2 pieces of the Guardian Ebony beta set, the head and arms, then the Arc Vulcan beta chest and waist, the Udra Myregreaves beta, and the Exploiter Charm 2. Again, weapon decorations, you know them, you love them, they're there. In the head, we want a Destroyer Jewel 2. Again, this is kind of optional since it's only about a 10% damage increase on those focus strikes, but breaking parts is kind of important for farming up materials, so I like to toss that in here. In the 2 level 3 slots in the chest and legs, you want a Chain Jewel, and then I like a Throttle Jewel to give us some extra stamina management and some extra affinity, but you can throw in anything you want into the legs there. 2 Refresh Jewels, again, Stamina Surge is just very nice. The 3 Sprinter Jewels are a must-have for dual blades, and then I went again with Shockproof for multiplayer. All in all, again, the weapon skills, you've seen them before, you know what they do. We have Weakness Exploit level 5 in the armor for 30% extra crit when we are attacking weak spots, and an additional 20% on top of that when we are attacking wounds for about 50% in total. We then have Burst 5, again, it's probably the best elemental skill in the game, plus the additional raw, we might as well have it. Marathon Runner, again, halves our continuous stamina depletion, so when we are in Archdemon mode, we effectively have double the uptime. The rest of the skills are either my choice in decorations or Stamina Surge, which we've already talked about, or they just come with the armor. So let's go ahead and jump over to our set bonuses. With 2 pieces of the Ebony Adogron armor, we get Burst Boost 1, and this takes our 18 raw damage that we gain from the burst skill and turns it into 21 raw damage. With most of our dual blades having between like 195 and 210 attack, this is basically at least a 10% damage increase, which is just super nice. Again, dual blades don't scale super well with raw, but the extra attack is just nice to have. With 2 pieces of the Arc Vulcan armor, we get Hasten Recovery 1, so whenever we continually attack the monster, after a certain amount of hits, we will regain a small amount of health. Like I've said before in other videos, it's not enough to make a massive difference, but if you're missing just a little bit of health, or if you get a knockdown, instead of stopping to heal, you can basically just keep attacking the monster. Dual Blades hits really fast, so you're going to be able to proc this skill quite often, and just get small chunks of health back over time. The armor is good enough that we would use the armor pieces even without this skill, so it's just a nice bonus to have on the side. Now, before we jump into the final set, that is a dragon-specific set, so if you're looking to build for all of the elements, you may be trying to decide between those last 3 sets, so I went ahead and put together a quick damage comparison for you guys, doing a full Demon Dance and Archdemon Flurry combo, followed up by the 6-fold attack on dual blades for each of those 3 sets. Now, the 4-piece Gore bonus hits for 2295, the 2-piece Gore with 2-piece Fulgur and Janeth hits for 2150, and the Wex Burst combination set hits for 2117. Now, between the best and worst, this is about a 6% damage difference, which is pretty negligible overall. So really just slap on whichever one you think looks the most fun, or you want to try out all 3, you could definitely do that. But I just wanted to give you guys this quick damage comparison to help you be better informed on what to choose if you're just looking to make one, or if you're trying to make the absolute best. And the 4th and final set I have for you guys is specific to the dragon element. So we will be rocking some dragon dual blades, as you can see here. Then the head and legs are the Arc Vulcan Beta, the chest and waist are Gore Alpha, and the arms are the Gore Beta. The talisman is the Convert Charm 1, and as far as I know, this cannot be upgraded to the Convert Charm 2, so 1 is what we'll have to settle with for now. In the weapon, I did change the decorations around just a little bit to show you guys some other ways that you can customize your Ardean dual blades depending on your decoration collection. However, we're still going for Dragon Attack, Razor Sharp, Enhancer, and at least 1 level of Focus. Then the level 3 jewels in the armor, there are 4 of them, and they are totally up to you. We do not need Burst to hit our elemental cap here, so there's no point in tossing it in. So I went for the Throttle Jewel 3. These coincide with the skill Latent Power, which we will talk about in a little bit. I really like this here. It's super efficient, and I don't really think there's anything better to throw here. I mean, you could go for like Wex or something like that, but I think Latent Power plays in a little bit better with Dual Blades kit, but again, we'll talk about that more. We then have 3 Phoenix Jewels in order to get Coalescence at level 3. I threw in 2 Sprinter Jewels in order to get Marathon Runner 2. We don't need level 3 here because we do have Latent Power. Then the final level 1 decoration. If you're not playing multiplayer, you could throw in the 3rd Sprinter Jewel here, but I'm playing a lot of multiplayer, so I have the Shockproof Jewel. All in all, for skills, the weapon skills remain mostly unchanged, just a little different, because again, I'm just trying to show you guys different ways that you can customize your set and weapons. But in the armor, we have latent power level 4. At level 4, we get 40% critical chance and 50% stamina reduction when certain conditions are met. Those conditions being taking enough damage. In Monster Hunter World, it was about 180 damage. Now, theoretically, this can be activated with your perfect evade here on Dual Blades if you wait until the very last second, so that way you take a little bit of chip damage. However, the chip damage is so small that it is a very difficult process in order to activate latent power this way. But overall, if you get hit a few times and spend enough time in quest, you'll get this skill active. It's super nice. Again, Constitution Evade window, you know the story. But we then have Convert Element, and this comes from those 2 Arc Vulcan pieces as well as the Charm. And what this does at level 3 is when we take enough elemental damage, we gain 180 Dragon Element. Now this is obscene, however it is just Dragon Element, which is why this set is Dragon specific. If you use any other element weapon, it will give you just Dragon attack on the side. So if you're using a fire weapon, it will do both fire and dragon damage. So I guess you could throw in a different element weapon here, but it really does work exceptionally well for Dragon. And it's one of the few skills when coupled up with Coalescence that allows our dual blades to hit the elemental cap. Just as a quick example, these dual blades come with a base element of 310, and after putting on our Dragon attack level 3, this goes up to 432. And then with the 180 from Convert Element, which can be activated by adept dodging through a elemental attack, we get up to 618 attack. This set specifically caps out at 660, meaning we need only 42 more element. And with our 3 Phoenix Jewels, we will be getting 15% of our base 310 element, which is 46.5, and we only need 42 to hit the cap, so we can actually elementally cap dual blades with Dragon by using this set. We have Antivirus at level 2. Again, it's just some nice extra crit to play into that 2-piece Gore Magala set bonus. And like usual, the other skills are just my decorations or come with the armor. Now, since we've already talked about Black Eclipse 1 and Hasten Recovery 1 skills, I won't rehash those here, but again, they're just super nice to have, and that Black Eclipse allows us to activate Coalescence and hit our elemental cap with these Dragon dual blades. So that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like down below. If you're new to my channel, new to Monster Hunter, or if you liked what you saw today and you're interested in seeing a bunch more sets, guides, tutorials, and even more information about Monster Hunter Wilds, do consider subscribing to the channel. It's a totally free way to support the channel, and you can always change your mind later if you're finding the content just isn't for you. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I know you guys have been dying to see the dual blade set, so I hope these lived up to expectation. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.